Magnet School Band. Let's start off with you, Mr. Ayers.
All right, well, thank you for having us today. Yes, like you said, my name is Bruce Ayers. I am actually from Dover, Delaware, where I was born and raised, to a wonderful home, had a loving mother, a very strong father, and they saw at a young age that music was where I was supposed to be. There was a battle there trying to get into the music field. They didn't always support it, but when they saw how much it meant to me, I think that's when the doors started opening because they were there to support. I graduated from Dover High School in 2008, where I was a drum major there. And then after high school, I went to Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia, where I became also a drum major, first sophomore drum major in the history of Virginia State University, which is a HBCU. And I think that's where a lot of my foundation started in the music field, particularly in band. I fell in love with it. I knew then and there in college that's what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life. And so I hope that I am leading in a way that represents who I am and what music means to me for my students.
Very good. Tangela, let's talk about your background, education, and some of the things that were important in your life, and then we'll have our first commercial break, and then we'll come back. But let's talk about it from that perspective.
Yes, sir. As you stated, my name is Tangela Wilcox. I am born and raised from here, Nashville, Tennessee. I started at a very, very young age with majoretting, baton twirling, all those types of things as far as dance. I'm alumni of Whites Creek High School, where I was a majorette there for 4 years. But I twirled for Tennessee Twirling Institute for over 14 years. After I graduated from Whites Creek, I decided that majoretting was really something that I was interested in. I loved it, loved to have kids, I loved to dance myself. So therefore, I decided to go back to my alumni and work with those majorettes there. I started at Whites Creek working with their majorettes. Not gonna tell you the year, then I might tell you my age, but again, it was a long time. I did that for 12 years at Whites Creek. Then I've been at Pearl Cone for 3 years now. It's just something that I love to do. I love to mentor young ladies and help them to develop into grown women.
Mr. Ayers, why don't you give us some information in reference to the band itself? It's called Pearl Cone Entertainment Magnet School Band. Now, what does all of that mean together?
All right, so the Pearl Cone Entertainment Magnet High School Marching Band is the band of tradition. And if you know anything about Nashville, more specifically North Nashville, you know the history of it. The renowned Jefferson Street, the Pearl Cone Institute itself, you know that Pearl Cone was Pearl, and then there was a school Cone, and when integration happened, they became Pearl Cone. The history behind that school in itself, it creates an atmosphere of pride. The Pearl Cone Marching Band is the #1 band in Nashville, and it has been so for years. And when I say years, I mean 30 plus years. Before myself, I've been at Pearl Cone for 4 years. Mr. John Sevier was the band director before I got there. He created a tradition of excellence. The band has performed on national stages. The band has been televised. The band has won several awards and honors, and we strive today to keep that name going. I am thankful for my kids. They are dedicated, they are passionate, and more importantly, their parents are also a great support for me as well.
Now, Ms. Wilcox, as a twirler, I think you indicated that you twirl a lot.
Yes.
Now, how do you prepare your charges? And I'm assuming that there might be some male twirlers as well as female. How do you prepare your charges for doing what you are now professionally doing?
Well, we did have a male majorette before. We have had male majorettes before. We encourage both. If you can dance, male or female. We don't discriminate. But my charge is if you have that passion and you can dance, then we welcome you.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Ms. Wilcox, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we're going to come back and start with you. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Very good.
Okay. Well, let's do it over
Okay,
again.
now this is another 6
And
minutes.
then watch how I'm gonna bit my tongue. What to say, Lord?
Pearl Cone Entertainment Magnet High School Band. Marching Band.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Pearl Cone Entertainment Magnet High School Marching Band. And of course, we have with us to talk about this extraordinary band, the band director himself, Mr. Bruce Ayers, and with Mr. Bruce Ayers is Miss Tangela Wilcox. And Mr. Ayers and Ms. Wilcox, let me welcome the two of you to the show this morning and tell you how delighted we are to have you. Now, let's start off, Mr. Ayers, by giving us some information in reference to your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of leading you to us this morning. And Ms. Wilcox will give us some additional information in reference to her background, education, and experiences. And we're going to try to get out of this segment in 6 minutes. So you've got about 3 minutes, and Ms. Wilcox, you'll have about 2 minutes to talk about yourself during that time. Let's start with you, Mr. Ayers.
Well, thank you for having us. Yes, a little background about myself. As you know, my name is Bruce Ayers. I am from Dover, Delaware, and I think that's where a lot of my musical background started. My family has an emerged experience with music. I began music at the age of 4 years old, and I think at that age, my parents really started to invest in that. I went to Dover High School in Dover, Delaware, where I became a drum major there. And then after that, I attended Virginia State University, where I was the first sophomore drum major in the history of the university. I think there is where, again, a lot of my musical experiences and my background started to develop. After graduating from Virginia State University in 2012, I attended Tennessee State University, Aristocratic Bands, where I get my master's degree in music. Tennessee State University has had a tremendous impact on my life as well.
Very good. Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, hi again. My name is Tangela Wilcox. As you stated, I started baton twirling at the age of 4. It was something that I loved to dance, loved to twirl, so my mom felt that she needed to get me into something. So baton twirling was the foundation that was laid. After baton twirling, I decided when I went to high school, I'm an alumni of Whites Creek High School, and I was a majorette there. So after I graduated, I decided to go back and give back. I love mentoring young ladies and helping them develop into grown women. I decided to become, I was asked to become the majorette coach at Whites Creek and was there for over 12 years. I've been at Pearl Cone for 3 years as the majorette coach, and it's just something that I love and I have a passion for.
You know, Mr. Ayers, I think that most people know of the Pearl Cone Entertainment Band, marching band, but what are some of the things that you would like for those people who might not know anything about this band? What would you like to say in reference to that during the last minute and a half that we have here on this segment?
Yes, the Pearl Cone Entertainment Magnet High School Marching Band, our name is the Band of Tradition. And a lot of times when we think of tradition, we think of things not changing. But I think that name, it alludes to something else. It's a band of tradition because of the tradition of excellence that we hold. Anyone who knows the Pearl Cone Band knows that you know what you're going to get. You're going to get an award-winning performance every time you see the Pearl Cone Marching Band.
Very good, and as a matter of fact, that's why we wanted to deal with this particular band this morning, because we know of the tradition and we've seen you march and et cetera, and so we know it's a very, very popular band, and we know that this will be a popular show. Make some statements in reference to this band over the last minute and a half that we have, Ms. Wilcox.
This band is a very positive and a very growing band. We have kids that are, like I said, magnet schools, and we also have kids that are feeder that attend the band also. If you are zoned to Pearl Cone, you're more than welcome to come and be a participant of the band also.
Mm-hmm. And so you do a lot of reaching out in a real sense, trying to bring in as many people as you possibly can to this particular band. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, which will be a 2-minute commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have you to give us some information over the next 8 minutes dealing with the band, some of the things, some of your successes, some of your aspirations, and some of the things that you'd like to highlight to let people know what you're doing, because I know quite well what you're doing. I've known about this band for the last 20 years, you see, and so when we come back during this second commercial break, this first commercial break, we will have you to give us that kind of information, and then Ms. Wilcox will give you an opportunity during that next 8 minutes to talk about some of the real things that you are concerned with it. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Bruce Ayers and Miss Tangela Wilcox in reference to Pearl Cone High School Entertainment Marching Band. And I know, Miss Wilcox, I didn't get all of that straight, but I think we've said it earlier in an earlier show in reference to what you're doing here and et cetera. Talk about some of the things in reference to what some of the young people do under your tutelage guidance in a real sense, and then Mr. Ayers will be able to close us out for this second segment.
Yes, sir. Okay, we are Pearl Cone Majorettes. This year I have 19 young ladies. This is the largest that I've had since I've been at Pearl Cone. It's very interesting because, you know, you have several different personalities that you're dealing with. So these young ladies, we not only focus on their dance, but the main focus is their education. We want to make sure that their education is being met, that their grades are at where they need to be before they're able to perform. A lot of times, some of the girls may have to sit out due to their grades not being where they need to be. Because like I said, our main focus is their education, and dance is second. But my ladies, you know, the main thing that I try to focus on is, I know, especially my seniors, we are preparing them to become college majorettes. So therefore, we want to focus on the way that they carry themselves, the way that they do interviews. We want to focus on just the way that they overall look. It's not just about dance. We want to go out and work within the community, teach them how to work, teach them how to fill out a resume, and just build their confidence level. Just help them to mature and become young ladies. So therefore, it's not only just about majorette, it's about their whole positive build as a woman.
I would imagine you could say the same thing in reference to the band itself. Mr. Ayers, speak to that.
Yes, sir. Like Tangela said, we focus on education. You are a student musician, an emphasis on student before musician or dancer. Last year, I'm proud to say that we had 100% of our graduating class attend college, and they all are doing very well in their first semester. Grades are very important. Education is very important. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Without that education, there's going to be a lot of life blocks that can hinder you from being successful. I check grades. Behavior is also important. Your reputation, not only do you represent yourself, your parents, but you represent this band program that a lot of people have worked to build up to where it is now. So we need for you to behave appropriately, and we need for your grades to be exceeding the expectation. A lot of our students, like I said, they are in college now, and we look forward to our students currently, our seniors, to also follow in their footsteps. I don't believe that when you have a high standard for you to backtrack. So if we had a 100% graduation rate last year, I expect for a 100% graduation rate this year.
Now, that's unusual, isn't it, to graduate all of the students in your band? I mean, all of the band members who are ready, it's time for them to graduate, and all of them graduated last year.
Yes, sir. It is maybe not unusual, but it is very rare for 100% of your students to graduate, especially being from the North Nashville community. There's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of situations that could come up that may hinder a child from being able to reach that level of success. But I think because Tangela, she keeps me accountable as well, we have created a program where that is now the culture, is to be successful in your education.
Speak to that, Ms. Wilcox.
Yes, we have communication with our students' teachers. We meet the teachers. We have some students that don't attend Pearl-Cohn, that attend other magnet schools, but they are zoned to Pearl-Cohn, which is okay for them to. We allow them to participate in the band. So therefore, we have to email. We use email, or either sometimes, we just go in, if we have some time off, we'll go in and, meet their teachers and just have a relationship with the teachers, just to make sure that we are keeping those students on the right track. Because sometimes, they may fall a little bit behind, but we have tutors that come in that can help with the students that are having difficulty with different subjects. And we just want to make sure that our kids, not only be great band members, but be great student, period.
Mr. Ayers, you talk about the band, but the band cannot be there by itself. I think that there's a whole athletic program that the band is associated with. How is Pearl-Cohn doing this year in terms of the athletics, especially football and et cetera?
Pearl-Cohn has always had a reputation of having a wonderful football program. Currently, right now, we are on the road to the state championship. Our last regular season game is next week, and so we will beat Wise Creek next week. And so we will go to the state of playoffs. And so not only is the band a part of the athletic department, because band is a sport, it's a non-contact sport, but the things that qualify a band member to be physically fit, it's considered a sport. And so the Pearl-Cohn way, which is an athletic department's phrase, is that students put school first. And so the football team, along with the basketball team, volleyball team, soccer, we all held our students accountable to the same standards.
And you found Pearl Cone to be an excellent place for you to demonstrate not only your talents, but also to encourage young people, especially young women,
Absolutely.
to be the best that they can be. Is that what you were saying, Ms.
That
Wilcox?
is correct. That is correct. Like I said, after Whites Creek, I thought I was retiring, but then, you know, I had that passion and I love it so much, I wasn't ready to. So therefore, I came to Pearl, and I've
Well,
been
now,
there
how
3
long
years.
did you work at Whites Creek?